In this screencast, we will use some crime data from the state of New South Wales in Australia to demonstrate some of the functionality within Tableau. What we actually want to do is tell a story using our data. We want to be able to visualize over time where the crime hotspots are and perhaps even what type of crimes are committed. So to start, we would want to use the fact that we have our postcode data to generate the map. So we can double click on postcode and a map will appear. Now, if we look at our data, we have dates, the type of offense, the subcategory, and the number of crimes that were committed for that particular category, which is under the label value. So one thing we can do with this map is we can make the size of the bubbles bigger if more crimes are committed, we can make the bubble bigger. Okay. How we do this is we drag the value onto size, and now we can see that some areas have larger circles than other areas. We could also color code this, so if I drag value onto color, now they would be colorized, and we can see green, which hopefully means good, means less crimes, while red means more crimes. If we want to have a playback function to see how these circles change over time, we can simply drag the date variable onto pages. And here we would probably want to change it to a monthly, because that's how our data is formed. So now we can actually play through and see how the dots change. But right now they're a little small, so let's go to the size portion of Tableau and we can edit the sizes. We can make the sizes a lot bigger. So let's just make it the biggest possible size, a bit over the top. But that's okay, because what we want to do is we want to play this. And one cool thing is you can show history. So I want to show the history of all the dots. I want to make it fade away, right? And I want to just have a mark. I don't want to have a trail. Though I don't actually think it makes a difference. Let's just show the last 5 occurrences, otherwise we'll have too many, since we have monthly data from 1995 to 2009. And now let's just play it and see what it looks like. And you can just see the dots pulsating in a sense, and that's pretty cool. But what if we want to see some more detailed information, like what kind of suburbs have a particular offense linked to it? How would we then do that? The easiest way is to not use this kind of graph, which is nice for visualizing the size of the crimes, but rather probably to use a different type of graph, like a bar graph, so that we can compare different suburbs and see the proportion of each type of crime, each category of crime. So let's just label this sheet first. We'll label this map of New South Wales. And now if we go to the sheet 2, we'll just call this portion or breakdown of crimes by postcode. If we look at our raw data, we'll probably want to use the subcategory because we want a broad picture of what kind of crimes and the proportions. Now remember, I said proportions. Tableau is quite nice. You can just double click on it and it will show you that, and it will quickly give you all the information you need. If I double click on value, it will do the same thing. Now I can see across all this information the total number of crimes for all of these categories of crime. Since we want to be able to compare postcode, the natural thing to do is to add the postcode information. And now I can see type of crimes by postcode, which is pretty neat. In order to determine what is the proportion for that particular postcode, I think for now we'll just exclude all the null values. We won't use sum. We'll go to add table calculation, and then we want to calculate the percentage of total by the, as we can see the table, we want to go downwards, because when we go downwards, that's each postcode. We'll click apply, we should be able to see the breakdown. With this view, what's the easiest way to show in each postcode, what are the problem areas? Which areas have a particular high amount of, let's say, criminal intent or break and enter? Which ones are significant? The best way to do this is probably to use this chart. I have no idea what it's called, but it will show you the size according to whatever feature you've told it to add, which in this case is the percentage. And then we can again change the color, and we'll probably again use red and green. And now we can quickly have a snapshot of which crime is particularly high in which area. Again, we can one useful way to easily highlight the red is to instead of centering it in the middle, we could just change the center to, let's say, 25%, which in this case will really highlight the reds when they appear. Though I think I went too high, so we can't see anything. Let's just say 20%. Another way is to start not at the bottom, so then you get perhaps a better picture. Let's start at 2%. See what happens. And now perhaps you have a better idea of what are the common crimes. You can see that there's a pattern that some crimes are a lot more common than others. Let's not worry about that for now. Ooh, no. You can very easily click on different type of graphs to get a different idea of what things look like. Tableau is pretty good at quickly figuring out what kind of information you need and how you want to encode it. And most of them are quite neat. They're quite intuitive. And the amazing thing is, all you have to do is click a single button and it will tell you exactly what you want. Perhaps now what we want to do is we want to graph the type of crimes that are committed over time, like a time series type graph. How might we do that? So